waking up, I could see I was in the hospital. I remember wondering why, but it hadn't really hit me yet. Asking one of them to just call my work and let them know I wasn't going to be able to make it in today. Yeah. My pace of life before the accident was extremely active. Leave my house at 6 a.m. and, get back for bed around 10, and then start it all over again. I have done many creative projects in New York throughout the years. I've always been the kind of person that's had a regular full-time job and then have done the creative passion projects on the side. So in my early 20s, I started a pretty popular music venue with my friends in Brooklyn. And then I had an art magazine for a while. Then after that, I had a gallery in the 50th Street subway station. Yeah, I was a very active person. Bringing people together really drove me. It's strange. When I think back to the accident, I don't remember most of that day. So what sticks out most to me is that it's just a blank. I remember waking up and I walked to the gym, was trying to get my steps in, working out. It was all pretty normal. And then we're looking at the clock and thinking, I need to go log in. I had a meeting scheduled that day, and that's the last thing I remember. In the hospital, they told me I was in an accident, and because I was on so much painkillers, I didn't really understand the extent of the accident. I learned from my parents what happened is the driver was making a left turn while I had the right of way at the intersection to walk, and he didn't yield. I had a lot of injuries: skull fracture, TBI, some processing and memory loss. Both my bilateral orbs bones were broken. I had a complex Lefort fracture, and it was so bad that they had to wire my jaw shut. I broke a shoulder. I broke a ton of ribs. The bones inside my ear broke, which caused hearing loss. My eyes weren't aligning, so I couldn't see. I'll never forget the first time I was allowed to go to the bathroom on my own in the hospital, and I was able to look at my wounds and look at my scars and how my face looked, and then looking at how my body looked. Because my lungs collapsed, and they had to put these pigtail catheters on both of my sides, and to even go to the bathroom, I had to carry around these 2 briefcases of blood, which is it was just crazy looking. And then just looking in the mirror and looking at my face. There are always parts about my body that I don't like or whatever, but I always liked my face. So it was weird for an entire year to just look in the mirror and not look like me because of the swelling. They had put all these plates in my face, and it made me feel very unattractive. I'm single, I was dating before. Now, how does that work? It's been a full year. While you're going through this, you just don't know if you're ever gonna feel the same again. I was also so tired and felt run down and didn't feel as sharp as I did before. I'm still wondering if I'm ever gonna feel the same way again. The crash took me out of my life completely. I was living alone in New York before the crash. I wasn't working. I had to move back in with my parents. I lost my gallery during that time. I wasn't able to socialize. Everything I was taken from me. The first time I was able to run again, I cried because it just felt so good to feel free to do that. It's been emotional because in the summer, while I was going through PT and speech therapy and had all of these surgeries scheduled, he was being criminally prosecuted. He was found criminally guilty, but it basically I mean, the punishment for, running somebody over, he had a good legal team too, was basically the equivalent of a parking violation, which does not feel great. I feel like I didn't get justice from the criminal system, so my faith was in the civil litigation. I feel like I was victimized twice. First by the driver in the crash, and then a second time by the insurance companies. They barely covered the costs. That $50,000 policy that the driver had only covered, a fraction of the time that I was in the hospital. My medical bills were paid via Medicaid, and that just, it doesn't seem just. Yeah, no, I did feel like a victim twice though. Like that feeling of just like when you guys sent me the proposal and I was just like, really? Like after all of that? Like now this? I would tell Governor Hochul that when you're creating policies, don't just think of, insurance companies or large corporations. Like think about the little guy like me or somebody like me, because it could really happen to anybody. I'm someone who works really hard. I'm not somebody who cuts corners. I'm not somebody who's trying to scam the system. I do my best like everybody else does.